I broke up with my boyfriend, and now he's trying to win me back. So I, 22F, broke up with my boyfriend, 23M, let's call him Ethan, about 2 years ago. We dated all through the end of high school and into the first year of college. He's one of the kindest people I've ever met, the type who never wants anyone to feel embarrassed or hurt, and he goes out of his way to make people comfortable. When I confessed to him, he accepted right away. At the time, I was over the moon. He treated me so well, little things like remembering my coffee order, walking me home when it was late, giving me space when I got stressed. He never raised his voice, never made me feel unwanted. To everyone else, he looked like the perfect boyfriend. But over time, I started noticing differences. He was kind to everyone, yes, but with my best friend, let's call her Claire, it felt different. I remember once, we were all hanging out, and it started raining. He immediately gave Claire his hoodie without hesitation, even though I was standing right there shivering. Later, when I teased him about it, he just smiled and said, "I knew you'd be okay. Claire doesn't handle the cold well." That kind of thing kept happening. He always noticed Claire first. If she was upset, he'd run across town to grab her favorite snacks, or pull out dumb jokes until she was laughing. When she talked, he leaned in, hanging on every word. When I talked, he listened, politely, kindly, but I never felt like I had his full attention. One night, Claire got tipsy at a party and blurted out that before I confessed, she had pulled him aside and begged him not to hurt me. She told him I was sensitive, that I'd been crushing on him forever, and she didn't want me to get heartbroken. And he admitted it. He said he hadn't been planning to date anyone at the time, but he didn't want to reject me and make me feel small, especially after my best friend had asked him to take care of me.
It hit me like a punch to the chest.
He didn't start dating me because he liked me. He did it out of kindness. Out of pity, almost. He cared, yes, but not in the way I had hoped. The affection he had for Claire, that was real. The way he looked at her, the softness in his eyes, the way he remembered every detail of what she said. I never got that. With me, he was respectful, dutiful, and gentle, but it felt like he was always holding back, like his heart was tethered to someone else. I loved him. God, I really did. But I couldn't keep pretending that was enough. It hurt too much to always feel like second best. At the same time, I felt guilty, like I had trapped him into a role he never chose. So, after 2 years together, I broke up with him. I told him he deserved to chase who he really wanted, and I was sorry for putting him in that position. He didn't fight me on it. He didn't beg me to stay, didn't argue. He just looked so impossibly sad, nodded once, and said he understood. That look has haunted me ever since. I left for college soon after, trying to bury it all. Fast forward to last month. I came back to my hometown for a reunion. To make things less awkward, and because I didn't want everyone whispering about me being single, I brought a friend of mine, Marcus. He's gay, but no one in my hometown knows that, and honestly I didn't correct the assumptions. He agreed to play along if anyone asked. One afternoon, Marcus and I were leaving the grocery store with a couple bags when we almost collided with Ethan in the parking lot. I froze. He looked at Marcus, then at me, and something flickered in his expression. His smile was polite, but his eyes were tight, like he was fighting something back. "Hey, welcome back," he said softly, looking only at me. I mumbled a hello and introduced Marcus. Ethan shook his hand, all polite friendliness, but the grip looked a little too firm. The tension was unbearable. I left feeling like I'd swallowed a stone. At the reunion later that week, it got worse. Ethan kept finding reasons to talk to me. He teased me about old inside jokes, asked how college was going, leaned in too close when he didn't have to. He made sure to sit across from me at dinner, his eyes on me more often than on his plate. When Marcus excused himself to grab drinks, Ethan slid into the seat beside me like he couldn't help himself. "You look different," he murmured. "College will do that," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He shook his head.
No, not just that.
"You look stronger, but sadder too." I stared at him, caught off guard. "Well, you don't exactly leave someone and come out happier for it." His jaw tightened. "You think I was happy when you left?" I almost laughed at that, bitterly. "You didn't stop me, Ethan. You just let me walk away." He leaned closer, voice low but sharp, like it was hurting him to hold it back. "Because you were right. I didn't deserve to keep you when I couldn't give you what you needed." He paused, his hand curling into a fist against the table. "But I never wanted you to go." I swallowed hard, my chest tight. "You didn't love me. Not the way I wanted. Don't rewrite the past just because it's convenient now." For a long moment he didn't speak. Then he whispered, "I didn't know how to love you then." But I do now. Before I could answer, Marcus came back, smiling, oblivious, and the moment shattered. Later that night, when the group started heading home, Ethan found me again outside, away from the noise. His eyes were almost desperate. I never stopped caring about you. I tried moving on. I couldn't. No one else, it's not the same. I shook my head, tears burning in my eyes. You don't get to say that now, Ethan. Not after I spent 2 years wondering if I was just a placeholder for someone else. He stepped closer, like he couldn't help himself. You were never a placeholder. You were everything. And losing you was the worst mistake of my life. And I hated him in that moment for saying exactly what I always wanted to hear. Because I still love him. I never really stopped. But I don't know if I can trust this, if I can trust him. Is he chasing me now because he truly wants me, or because nostalgia makes the past look softer than it was? Every time he smiles at me, my heart screams yes. But my brain whispers, remember what it felt like to be second place. And I don't know if I'm strong enough to risk that again. After that night, I tried to avoid Ethan. I thought if I kept my distance, the feelings would fade like they always did when I left town. But he didn't make it easy. He texted me the next morning, just a simple, "Did you get home safe?" like old times. Then later in the week, I ran into him at the cafe in town, and he insisted on buying my coffee. I kept brushing it off, telling myself it was just nostalgia, nothing more. But he wouldn't stop looking at me like I was the only thing in the room. And the worst part? I kept catching myself looking back. Then came the moment I was dreading. Claire. She pulled me aside after the reunion weekend, clearly having noticed the tension. She said, "You know he still cares about you, right?" I laughed it off, but she wouldn't let it go. He's not the same kid he was back then. People grow. Maybe you should let him explain. It felt like my chest was caving in. Because Claire was the reason I always felt second place. Hearing her say that, it messed me up. That night, Ethan showed up at my parents' house. I was in the driveway, unloading groceries with Marcus, and he just appeared, hands shoved in his pockets like he'd been pacing outside for an hour. Marcus, bless him, instantly gave me space. Ethan didn't waste time. "Why are you avoiding me?" he asked, his voice tight. I froze, clutching a bag of groceries like it was a shield. Because this isn't fair. To me.
To you.
I can't go back to feeling like second best, Ethan. I barely survived it the first time. He stepped closer, his expression raw, almost desperate. "You are never second best." I almost snapped at him, but he didn't let me. "I know I hurt you. I was young, I was stupid, and I thought being kind was the same as being honest. But I swear to you, I didn't stay with you out of pity. I stayed because I kept falling for you, over and over, and I was too much of a coward to admit it to myself until you were gone." My throat closed up. I wanted so badly to believe him, but all I could think about was years of watching him look at Claire like she hung the moon. "You don't get it," I whispered. "I watched you love her in all the ways I prayed you'd love me. And I can't go through that again." His voice cracked when he said it. "Then don't. Don't go through it again. Let me show you I've changed. Please let me fight for you this time." And then he just stood there, eyes shining, waiting for me to say something. But I couldn't. My heart was screaming at me to run into his arms, but my head was screaming just as loud to walk away. So I did nothing. I turned, went inside, and left him standing in the driveway. Now I can't stop thinking about the look on his face as I closed the door. So this will probably be my last update. After the driveway conversation, I avoided Ethan again. Not because I didn't want to see him, but because I was terrified that if I let myself near him, I'd give in too easily. My head kept saying no, but my heart was a traitor. Then came the rain. Literally. A week later, I was walking back from the cafe when it started pouring. I didn't have an umbrella, of course, and halfway down the street, I was already soaked. And then suddenly, someone was holding one over me. It was Ethan. I swear, for a second I almost cried right there because the last time this happened, he gave his hoodie to Claire and left me shivering. But this time, he pressed the umbrella into my hands, stood in the rain himself, and just said, "You always hated being cold." That broke me. We ducked under the awning of a closed shop, both dripping, and I finally snapped. "Why are you doing this, Ethan? Why now?" He looked at me with so much intensity, it was hard to breathe. "Because I let you walk away once, and it's the worst thing I've ever done. I was blind and stupid, and I didn't see what I had until you were gone. But I see it now. And I don't care how long it takes, I'll prove it to you every damn day, if that's what you need. Just don't shut me out again. I told him everything then, every doubt, every fear, every moment I felt like second best. I told him how it gutted me to watch him love Claire in ways he never loved me. He didn't flinch. He didn't deny it. He just stepped closer and said, "You're right. I loved her. But I fell in love with you. And I didn't even realize how much until I lost you." And then, God, I hate how cliche this sounds, he kissed me. In the rain, under that stupid broken umbrella, like we were teenagers again. Only this time, it wasn't out of pity or obligation, or because someone else asked him to. It was raw and desperate and real. I don't know what's going to happen long term. I'm not naive enough to say we'll live happily ever after. But I do know this. When he kissed me, for the first time, I didn't feel like second best. I felt chosen. And for now, that's enough.